like waiting for everything to catch up. So it says it's live, so I guess we're live now. How's it going, everyone? How are you guys doing?
Hey everybody, thanks. No, them, everybody out there. Thanks for waiting for us, guys. It's my fault.
I know. Oh, there we go. It's like I started hearing myself talking. It's like, it gets confusing when I hear myself talk. Okay. Even if there is like a 4, 5 second, 7, 10-second delay. So yeah, I was supposed to see Tenet last night, and being it that was my Kempo night. Obviously you can't fit like your wallet in your gi or anything like that. So I go to class, come back, I get, take a shower, get ready to go, drive to the theater, which is like a good 10 minutes away. It's not too bad. And I get out, I put my hand in my pocket. I'm like, I left my fucking wallet in my bag. So I drove all the way home. At this point in time, the movie's started. I'm like, I'll just see it tomorrow. So I finally saw it today. And I know that some people were waiting for me to do like a review on it. I have a review coming this weekend. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to do like a reaction afterwards because my day has been busy. So I saw the movie. I enjoyed it. And I was kind of commenting about it a little bit earlier, where I found it was good. It was at times it was very difficult to follow. And I guess the audio mixing on it was kind of messed up because there's times where you simply just can't hear the conversation because the background music and the background audio is just so fucking loud.
When did you decide that was a good idea? Because I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, okay, so you're trying to set up this otherworldly kind of storyline. So I can understand why you would experiment with some of the audio editing, but that seems to be everybody's complaint. Knowing going into that what that film was going to be about, I mean, it's basically time manipulation. It's not time travel, and that was everybody's misunderstanding to begin with. I mean, I can see where they fell down. And or why they did, because they were trying to do something different with the sound. But
yeah, well, it's not just that, but there's times like when the music was really loud. It's like you could hear them talking, and it was just colliding. And it's like I don't know a whole lot about mixing. I know enough that you got to be careful of frequencies, because like if you have like two frequencies that exist, they will cancel each other out. So yeah, I mean, there's just times where it was very hard to hear what was going on. And I'm 46. I get it. There's probably a point where I'm gonna start losing my hearing. And that was kind of the issue, is like, is it me? Is the problem with me, or is the problem with the fucking movie, or is the problem with the theater?
Yeah. Well, that complaint's been going on ever since Dark Knight Rises, because that was a huge complaint with what was it? The space travel film you did.
Oh, Interstellar.
Interstellar.
Same thing. Yeah, a lot of people complaining that there were major plot points that would have been obvious if you could hear the dialogue.
Yeah.
Yes.
I saw it in IMAX, Interstellar at IMAX, and I don't recall there being an issue with the audio. Maybe there was. I mean, it was such a long time ago.
Was it Atmos in that theater? Because I think it comes down to how the center channels mix down because that's where the dialogue resides, and so I always feel like if that's done poorly, then I do have difficulty. So but it seems like it seems to be a theme with Nolan movies is to have some odd audio anomalies. But the guy pushes the boundaries on everything he does. So
yeah,
What was the initial
complaint? I was going to say real quick, welcome, Tom. How's it going?
Hey, Tom.
Hey, how's it going? What was the original complaint?
Oh, my complaint was that at times I found the movie hard to follow because there's conversation going on and there's either a lot of like background audio or music, and it's very, very difficult to hear what is going on. But no, I thought the movie was good. It was really good. And it's interesting, and there's times where it does get a bit confusing because of the whole time manipulation thing. Here, let me try and fix.
Oh, we're talking about Bill and Ted.
No. We're talking about Ted.
I know.
Yeah.
I love you,
Without
Tom.
without getting in spoiler territory, it's an interesting movie. It's like I really can't talk about the movie without talking about spoilers, which I'll do over the weekend.
Well, the three complaints I've seen is one, the sound is the number one complaint. There's been quite a few complaints that the characters are too unrelatable, and since the lead is literally called the protagonist, I'm kind of getting the sense he was trying to do a thing where you were viewing the world through that character's eyes.
Yes, you are very much so, and because he actually refers to himself as the protagonist, and it's just kind of interesting the way that plays out. But it's I wouldn't say that the characters are unrelatable. What's his name? I know his last name is Washington. He was in the Black Klansman. He was great in it. Pattinson was good in it too. I mean, he's actually a pretty good actor. You know, I know people have complaints about him, but he was great in this movie. I mean, all the acting was fantastic. The effects was great.
I got the COVID.
What? Oh yeah.
Do you have the COVID or just a hangover?
No, he's got
no. He's talking about Pattinson today.
Pattinson.
Yeah.
I totally ate a bat.
Yeah, he
put
did.
A microwave. Put it in an oven.
Yeah, I know. I've heard about this story. Thanks a lot.
My wife told me that. So, Toxic Man flew for $2. I'm glad comics is finally getting some class. Not really sure what that's referring to. I guess it could be Culture Casino. And Macadee 90 for $2. Super sticker with a fox pointing in the air. Thank you, Macadee. But yeah, I mean, overall, like I said, I enjoyed the film. The fight scenes were cool. There's just like some stuff with the premise that it gets very kind of jarring at times, I guess is the best way of putting it. And yes, not my Star Wars. Yes, I know I still owe you audio. I'll be doing that tonight. I'm not forgetting. But yeah, so it's cool. But at times it does, as I think Odin said, that kind of fucks with your head a bit. I mean, there's times when I was driving because before I went to the movie, my grandmother called me up. She needs some medication picked up. So I was like driving to go get her stuff. And I'm like picturing cars rolling at me like from the movie. It's like, it's interesting. Anyway, so yeah, there Dalton, I'll throw you the link if you want to join, dude, because you're the one who sent me this article. Dalton sent me this article from NPR, which we're going to be talking about, and it's just it's an interview with this lady who wrote this book called In Defense of Looting, and it's
already
I don't know when this came out, but it came out
a few days ago.
A few days ago, really?
Oh well, no, the article in NPR, but yeah.
The article in NPR. I'm talking about the actual book itself.
Oh, I don't know.
Who has time to loot and write a book?
Yeah, that's rather involved.
But
trust fund kids.
Yeah,
Jake Paul can do it.
Yeah.
This shit is just insane, and the logic that this person uses, and I'm gonna say person. Ishi and I were kind of talking about this earlier, because the author is kind of like Brianna Wu in more ways than one. So,
can I pretend it's John Woo so it's more exciting?
You can try and pretend it's John Woo. What's up, Dalton?
Not much. How's everybody doing today?
I'm waiting to see if this has doves flying in it.
That'd be cool. Not.
Well, you said I get to pretend it's a John Woo story. So.
Yeah, Alexander Woo. He's a writer on True Blood. No.
Who?
Who?
And more importantly, what?
True Blood. It was a television program on HBO. He's actually part of the.
I know. That's the joke. The joke being admitted. Part of the irrelevant vampire fad of the early or mid 2000s. Anyway, moving on to apparent defense of looting that makes me want to philosophically baseball myself to death.
One author's controversial view.
Are you going to read it like it's on NPR? Today we're going to talk to this person.
Please, God, no, Tom. I love you for your Bill and Ted 3 review, because that was the only review that I actually considered before seeing it. But no NPR today. Fucking no.
Today we're discussing the article, One Author's Controversial View in Defense of Looting by Natalie Escobar.
Tell me, Noah
Mostly
Adams.
peaceful shopping.
So, Noah, when was the last time you ran in and just clubbed somebody over the head and took their shit?
Oh, no, but no, Ishii. That's not what not Escobar, but the let me look at the title. Osterweil.
Yeah, something like that.
That's not what Osterweil is saying they should do. It's all about going in and breaking into businesses and taking their shit because it's free.
It's not like people spend their lives building businesses and therefore have investment in them or anything.
Yeah. He's the same type of person as a kid where they're like, oh, you don't have to pay money, mommy. Just write a check.
Mm-hmm. It's fantastic. So apparently it's been updated since I last read it, which was a couple days ago. This story was updated September 1, 2020, the original version of the story, which is an interview with an author who holds strong political views and ideas, did not provide readers enough context for them to fully assess some of the controversial opinions discussed.
In other words, we got called on our bullshit and now are proceeding to backpedal at the speed of light. So please note the melting clocks as we speed in the other direction.
This is NPR.
This is NPR.
Whoa,
when we get called out, we cave and backpedal, just like everybody else in 2020.
Intellectual woo at its finest, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Just wait and we'll say something racist so you have another good reason.
Please don't stop sending us the donation so we can stay on the air.
This story is brought to you by people like you. Except for you looting. If you got some money while looting, send it to us.
Well, yeah, but keep in mind they still get federal funding, so it's not just your donations.
Proceed.
They don't want you to know that.
Oh, sorry.
In the past months of demonstration for Black Lives, there has been a lot of combination of looting. Whether it was New York Governor Andrew Cuomo saying that stealing purses and sneaking from high-end sneakers from high-end stores in Manhattan was inexcusable, or St. Paul, Minnesota's Mayor Melvin Carter saying looters were destroying our community.
Both
what's wrong with that?
True statements. And by the way, Black Lives Matter does not care about actual Black lives. They care about the idea of Blackness, which is essentially a philosophical hive mind. And if you are a Black person who sins against that philosophical hive mind, you will get your race card revoked, just like I will get my homophobia
card revoked
because of the fact that I don't subscribe to the idea that we were always victims of everything, no matter what happened.
Well, the other thing too, it's not just that. What they're wanting is they want revolution. Because if they actually were for change, they would actually put out what should be done to fix these problems. Besides saying stupid things like defund the police. So it's all about the revolution. It's not about actual change.
Hey, they're Marxists. They're proudly Marxist. They've been telling you they're Marxists. It's not like they're hiding it.
Yep.
I'll tell you what this is. It's not my fault I broke the law. It's the law's fault I broke the law.
Yep. Because the law is wrong, apparently, according to their standards.
It's not my truth.
Which I suppose is reasonable, but here's the thing. In Western democracies, ladies and gentlemen, we have a procedure for what happens when the law is wrong. We lobby to change the law of, by rational legal means, and we argue to convince people our position. That is how laws are changed in westernized liberal democracies. God damn it!
No, man. Well, the way you tear it down. I'm sorry. The way you change things is by tearing everything down, right? Through revolution. I mean, isn't that how we do it these days now?
Yeah,
throwing a temper tantrum like a 3-year-old.
Pretty much.
That's what they are. They are the equivalent of the 3-year-old in the Target that didn't get the freaking Star Wars toy. Well, no, nobody wants that.
Sad thing
they didn't get the Hello. Go
they're
ahead, my man.
academically educated 3-year-olds who now have a bevy of new excuses that they've been taught for 4 to 8 years as to why they can get what they want.
Oh, and real quick, major props to Perry Chan for that video he did recently. That was really good. I just wish I didn't like stutter my way through that, but that was pretty fucking epic, dude. Anyway, yeah. So, police officers, government officials, and pundits alike have denounced property damage and demanded an end to riots. Here's the funny thing too, is I love how these people also say you can't be violent against property. Property damage is not violence. Okay, so that's like key factor one here, and how they go and defend the whole looting thing, because property damage is not violence. And just last week, rioters have burned buildings and looted stores in Kenosha, Wisconsin, following the police shooting of Jacob Blake, to which Senator Ron Johnson, Republican of Wisconsin, said peaceful protest is constitutionally protected form of speech. Rioting is not, and he is correct.
Did you hear about that one chick who got like a $2,500 bill in the mail, and I think it was Portland, for organizing a protest?
No, I haven't.
I think it was Portland where it happened, but they ended up taking it back. But it was like, yeah, anybody who organizes like some kind of event like this because of the police overtime and all that kind of crap, they get charged for the police overtime. It's like, this is a normal thing for any event. And like the media was raising a stink because it was a BLM deal or whatever. And it's
did you hear how they tried burning down Ted Wheeler's apartment building that he lives in?
They didn't do a very good job. You have to turn off. You have to turn off the main supply to the fire sprinklers, which is located in a closet on the outside of the building. So you have to snap the lock with a fire extinguisher. And then go in there. And all you need, you don't want me to help.
They don't have the procedural awareness to know that ahead of time, and that's why they always fail at shit. That's exactly why. Exactly why the Chaz failed at gardening, because they couldn't be bothered to either research gardening or know anything about it ahead of time, despite being the exact kind of herb-going hippies that you would think would be good at gardening.
Yeah, gardening is not easy, and if you don't have like pollinators around, you gotta hand pollinate.
Yeah, that's the key. You need Q-tips. And hydroponics would have been a much better way for those guys to go. If I was in the Chaz, I think, and these are intellectuals we'd be talking to, right? These are the super smart people that are in the Chaz.
I'm pretty sure that's an oxymoron, dude.
Is a construct, don't you know? It's the thing that they would respond to you with. Procedural meritocracy is a construct. The idea of doing things in a rational order is haram, according to the new orthodoxy.
Okay.
Let's see here. Writer Vicky Osterweil's book In Defense of Looting. God, I can't believe it. Which came out on Tuesday, so this is a new thing. So I guess this book just came out then. Yeah.
Perfect timing.
Yep. Osterweil is a self-described writer.
You couldn't do any better than that, really.
Yeah, it's like,
I'm a self-described millionaire, but that don't mean shit.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, what the actual fuck?
You know what, Tom? You didn't shoot high enough. I am a self-described billionaire, so I trump you.
Fuck, I missed out.
Does that mean that you not having $1 billion means you're unduly oppressed and therefore should expect it?
Culture's oppressing me.
I don't know. Whenever you're like self-described, that makes me feel like you're role playing as that. You're pretending. I'm a pretend writer.
Hi, my name's Tony. Well, I am a janitor, but I'm LARPing as a writer, and it's amazing.
But no, here's the beautiful thing, though. By these people's logic, you should be able to just identify as something and get any dues in accordance with that. So if you identify as a billionaire and you don't actually have $1 billion, then you can claim to be oppressed and crowdfund to get $1 billion, according to these people's logic, if they were consistent about it.
That would actually work, Dalton, sadly enough. Okay, so this is interesting. Robert Frey brings up, speech is violence, silence is violence, you're screwed either way. But the other thing, too, which I find very funny, speech is violence, silence is violence, but destruction of property is not.
Well, now, here's the thing. Destruction of property, if it's other people's property, you're committing violence against those people. And therefore, the property owned by these business owners, you're essentially committing violence against those people. And I'm sorry you can't see it that way. Well, fudge! I'm using logic again.
Yeah.
The hell?
Real quick, I'm gonna share what
construct
you have here. What did you pull up? Oh, you pulled Vicky Ostein's or Osweill.
Yeah, this is just inside her book cover. And if you read right here, it says the scanning, uploading, and distribution of this book without permission is theft of the author's intellectual property.
Well,
that's not very socialist of her, isn't it?
Mm.
And not only that, culture, I think this all this talk of ownership is problematic because it makes me think of my great granddaughter or uncle or grand whatever that I never met and never could tell you their name. They may have been a slave though. So that might bother me. So quit using the terms ownership and master and bait.
Wasn't me.
Okay, Toxic Manflu for $2. They are just down with OPP. It's a
rap
you know
concert.
Me.
I'm down with OPP. Yeah, you know me. I'm down with OPP.
Other people's property.
Yeah, I figured. I wasn't going to say the actual words. That would have been not okay.
But see, that's the thing. When they do it, it's for the greater good because they live in a world entirely comprised of abstraction. So it doesn't have to relate to anything actually physical.
Please
but when
stop
other
talking
people
about
do
math.
it, they're upholding negative ideas. Therefore, it's haram to them. That's the academically endorsed viewpoint on the matter at this point.
Quit talking about abstraction
academia.
Or whatever the word you used is, because math is problematic and it makes me feel dumb. and I feel you're very racist.
Real quick, hey, what's up, Manu? How's it going?
Hey, guys.
Okay, Culture Casino for $1.49.
You're here.
The phallic unicorn, as usual. There we go. All right.
Always have fun.
Yes. Okay, self-described writer, editor, and agitator who has been writing about and participating in protests for years. And her book arrives as the continued protests have emerged as a bitter dividing point in the presidential race.
AKA, I'm cashing in on this shit.
Seriously.
Yeah. Hey, look, if you're going to grift, grift like a pro.
Very true.
Thing, though, I'm pretty sure this person is sincere. They're just ungodly incompetent about it. Is the thing. Never attribute to malice what can adequately be explained by apparently interstellar fucking incompetence.
Are we talking about Nolan again?
No.
Oh.
Okay, I'm just trying to keep up here.
Which is funny because my first thought too went to the movie when he said that.
It's about his fucking.
It was an unintentional joke on my part, but I'm gonna take credit for it anyway because I can't.
About as confusing, that's for sure. It all makes about as much sense.
I liked Interstellar.
I did till the end, and that other part that was like a whole nother movie that didn't belong there. But yeah.
Okay, here's the problem with Christopher Nolan. He is technically proficient. Every movie he makes is
but he's pretentious as fuck.
Technically immaculate, but yes, he's pretentious as fuck. And also, he cannot convey human emotion.
You understand he's British, right? I mean, come on.
And Vulcan, probably.
That sums up all of that right there. I'm sorry.
But so's John Cleese.
I know. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Is the problem.
This parrot is dead.
This parrot is dead. Anyway.
Wait, how did John Cleese end up in that? I'm wow.
Now I want to see John Cleese in a Nolan movie.
It's because I was jokingly insulting British people. Is how that kind of happened.
No, better yet, I want to see Christopher Nolan do a Monty Python movie now. It just has like a real foot coming out of the sky and crushing people.
He has no conception of human emotions, which was my point. He has a conception of how to technically shoot a movie, but there will be no essence or substance or value to that movie because there is no depth or emotion to it whatsoever.
Okay, he just wrote a movie.
Christopher Nolan movie.
He just wrote a movie called Conception. He just replaced, whatever you just said with Robot.
So this is funny. $5 super chat from Toxic Manflu. Question: Nancy Pelosi and the Crypt. God damn, I can't speak. Keeper. Yeah, are never in the same room at the same time. Things that make you go,
But see, here's the thing. The Crypt Keeper is actually likable and more lively than Nancy Pelosi is the problem.
That's
with that
true. That's true. Watch more animated. Absolutely.
Much
And
more
he's
animated.
actually had a man's hand up him too. So
well, the funny thing is, I'm pretty sure they go to the same beautician, though.
You don't know that she hasn't been near Biden, Tom.
well, all I know is that
was
she needs to
fantastic.
loosen up a little bit. I don't
Da-da-da-da-da-da. That was funny. That was bad, yet funny.
Oh, I'm an
Okay.
awful person.
Moving on before we get sidetracked yet again.
She was set up. That's enough.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah. She was set up. Okay.
She was set up. You know what? She was set up by the phone call she made. Absolutely.
Bingo. Well, the other thing too, which I found pretty funny, was the comment saying if that was the case, if she was set up like that, then why do we trust this lady with national secrets?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. This she has access to like confidential material, kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no. You know, and
I call bullshit. She's lying. I mean, flat out, she's fucking lying.
For sure. And the best thing today was what's her name? Kylie Ann McEnany. She was running that thing during the entire introduction at the press conference today. She kept looping the visit to the hair salon. It was fantastic.
This is like when my kid was in junior high and he tried blaming the kid whose phone he stole because the kid left it outside in the classroom. It was like it was the kid's fault for leaving it there, so he got set up,
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah,
he literally tried. He was a 12-year-old trying to use this kind of fucking defense, or 13-year-old folks. That's the kind of level of thought, I guess, is put into that.
Oh, but here's the thing, man. She fully expects everybody to believe that story, and and nobody's buying it. Well, nobody.
Sadly, I think her constituents in California will.
They don't fucking care.
They keep reelecting her, and she's done absolutely bupkis for that area. Although they have probably the largest city budget in the history of man. I don't even want to get into how much money they spend.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll tell you this right now. I was a lifelong Democrat, and I'm about ready to just wipe my ass with a fucking ballot this year. Is about where I'm at.
Oh man,
I wouldn't blame you at all, Tom. I wouldn't blame you one.
There were only 3 candidates on the Democratic ticket worth supporting, and they all got screwed again.
Yeah, it's true. It's a true statement.
All right, let's continue on here. When she finished it back in April, she wrote that a new energy of resistance is building across the country. Now, as protests and riots continue to grip cities, she stakes out a provocative position. Provocative. There we go. Provocative position. Trust me, folks. I did actually graduate college as well as high school.
With an anthropology degree, which explain a few things.
Well, the learning disability doesn't help. So
yeah, so you're just dyslexic. Oh wait, dyslexic. Which is it?
Dyslexic.
Oh yes. And Smallville TK's right. She's telling the truth. She called and they set up her appointment.
Yeah,
that's true.
We're missing the context here. That's all it is.
Oh God, she was set up.
No, so this is where it gets good. Okay. So the provocative position that looting is a powerful tool to bring about real, lasting change in society.
By ending it, maybe, darling.
I think, yeah, or these are the kind of people I'm like, well, so when I show up at your house and loot it, you're going to be fine.
No. We're not talking about looting houses. We're just talking about looting stores. It's okay. They're big companies. They got insurance. They'll cover it.
And surely no company has ever been employing human beings or founded by human beings or of any particular use to human beings
More like
by your logic here.
let's actually make the bigger assumption here that all these,
Yeah.
they can afford to be looted and destroyed.
No,
No.
because their insurance doesn't even cover it.
I
That's
know.
the
Yeah, that's the thing.
facetious.
They always say insurance will cover it, and that
No.
is not true.
No, it's a lie.
Insurance, it's okay. I was talking to my
As if that
grandmother
one
today.
comes
She
from
used to
nowhere.
she used to own a store, and she had like a form of insurance, like it's like I don't remember what it's called, but for whatever reason, if your business is disrupted for a period of time, they basically will pay you what your store typically makes, but apparently it's not covering the coof. So these businesses that have this insurance aren't covered. It's pretty disgusting.
They're probably finding loopholes because like certain states are probably doing certain things with like unemployment and shit like that. But that doesn't necessarily mean if you're self-employed, you're going to get anything.
And that's the thing that this idiot does not take into consideration is that the whole point of insurance is for the insurance company to make money, not to pay out. And there's always loopholes, right? You got to fight. And that's why sometimes
If you ever
get
talked
involved.
to anybody who ever worked at an insurance company, I talked to somebody who worked one, and that's what they flat out said. The first thing they do, and when any claim comes in, is mark it no and send it.
They'll deny it.
They deny, because they're like 9 times out of 10 that person's not going to fight it.
Yep.
It's the 1 out of 10 person who actually fights it that actually gets anything out of it. But even then, it's an uphill battle. Yeah.
And add to the fact that when these buildings are actually burning, that's arson, and that requires an investigation. And on top of that, an insurance investigation. And they absolutely do not want to pay for arson. It's actually in your insurance that if there's any reason for the arson that can't be clearly discerned, they will not cover the claim.
And regardless, insurance rates for that area will go up, which means everybody's cost will go up.
Yeah, which again, this lady does not friggin' think about because they don't think past the 10 minutes that's in front of them, and likely not even beyond their next bathroom trip. So I don't know.
Okay,
Well,
so
they're just confused at which bathroom to go into. Culture.
That's true. I know which one to go into.
Hang on.
Ideas is the thing. They live in a world of entire abstractions. Is the issue. They're aristocrats with nothing better to do. Of course, they're focused wholly on abstraction.
Ishii didn't get to finish. Sorry.
Oh, I said it's just clearly this is someone who actually probably spends way too much time thinking about what goes on in the bathroom.
That's what I was saying. They're too distracted with trying to figure out which bathroom to go into or build a third bathroom in every building that they don't give a fuck about the rest of the building burning down. It's all about the bathroom.
All right.
Well, it's just like how it's always the preachers that preach the hardest against homosexuality that end up banging their pool boy on the side.
Or in some cases, watching the pool boy bang your wife.
Yes, I heard about that story. That was why I mentioned the pool boy.
Yeah.
Preston? Are we talking about Preston again?
No. We're not talking about Preston. We're talking about Jerry Falwell Jr.
Oh, yeah, that's no good.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's actually a thing, folks. It just came out recently. Because people were thinking that, him and the pool boy were getting on. No, it was him watching. He's literally a cuck.
That's almost worse in a way. Like, I mean, there's nothing wrong with being gay, but it's like if you're gonna be like, that's just, I don't know, it's weird.
Participate, goddammit.
I'm not trying to shame anybody.
No, man. If you're gonna get down with that completely. So anyway,
yeah. Okay. The writers who smash windows and take items from stores, she claims, are engaging in a powerful tactic that questions the justice of law and order and the distribution of property and wealth in an equal society.
Communism.
What the actual fuck?
That's communism.
Yeah.
Here is the thing, my darling. You all, and by you all, I mean the social justice advocates in academia and so forth, believe wholeheartedly in being able to express anything you want. Did it ever occur to you that some people choose to express themselves by the items that they purchase? Did it ever occur to you that buying things is an extension of your right as a human being to express your loyalties to a team, for example, or your loyalties to a brand, or your loyalties to an IP, and so on and so on and so on. Not to mention, in order for any of that shit to work, any of that expressive shit to work, you need basics like food, water, and shelter and shit. And the choices you make in that regard also say something about you. Did it ever occur to you that if you want to play identity politics, one of the things that you should be focusing on is the choices people make financially, because that is also a way of expressing yourself. And in fact, probably a more substantive way of expressing yourself. If you want to play the identity game, then focus on the choices people make when they're given those choices. Don't take those choices away and then still try to make shit about identity. God damn it.
So anyway, we haven't even gotten into the full interview yet, which is just
oh God! I read this
happens
thing
every episode though. Why are you surprised? Comics like really?
I'm not. I'm really not. I'm really not.
Now that I'm here, we're never getting anywhere.
Well, no. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the insanity we just have been talking about.
Where's that Susan Powers clip I say we all need? Stop the insanity.
Yes. Susan Powder. Yes. Oh my God.
Someone make a video with her and a clown nose on.
2020 Hong Kong.
Perry's here still. Get Perry.
Oh shit. Yeah. Perry's here.
Yep. Perry can make it happen. Stop the insanity with the big old fucking clown nose on her.
Hell yeah.
Okay,
Oh wait.
Yeah.
Oh wait. I know this is way off topic, but did you know Bree made a new video today?
No.
I try not to.
That's like saying, did you go take a shit today? I mean, because I'm sure it's of the same quality.
Pretty close.
Now what's she talking about, or what's she hawking now?
Hawking a loogie.
It's part 2 of one of our other videos. Dude, I just don't even want to go there, but I about died today. So go ahead. I'm sorry. I can pull this way off. I'm bad at that. I'll stop.
This is interesting. Hang on a second. LK is saying comics. You heard that the Portland shooter was killed in Washington when a U.S. Marshal tried to take him into custody. No, I haven't heard
reading about that. Yeah.
I have not heard that.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, that whole deal is messed up, man.
It's hitting a point where, like, sooner or later something's got to give.
Well,
and I knew once it hit here, because I'm sorry I wasn't on the last couple shows, but like, I said it how many times right here on this show. Like, Wisconsin is the Texas of the North. They're not going to fuck around once they get up here and you start fucking with people's businesses and property. There's like 2 guns per fucking person per capita in this fucking state. Like I said, I was not kidding when I said that.
Ishi, you know how many guns are in the per capita in our neck of the woods here in the desert south?
All of them.
All of the guns. All of them.
Like when you're born, they hand you out a gun here. Like that's the thing. Like it's like, here's your birth certificate. Here's your 45. Here's some shells.
When I was in school, they literally gave us days off because so many people went hunting.
Yeah, that's the way it is here. Season. Yeah. Like that's what I've said. Like, yeah, Wisconsin's always been known as like the Texas of the North for that reason. Like it's, the hunting, the guns, everything. Like this is one of the few states up here where you can get away with the whole like private trade with guns and going to gun shows and buying them and shit.
Hey, Culture Casino, when they raided the Scottsdale Mall here, those assholes from LA came out. Did you see the footage when they tried to break into the mom and pop businesses in those malls and were met with shotguns?
Arizona has So in Scottsdale, Arizona, just in Arizona in general, there's 25 guns per capita. That's per capita ownership. 25. Idaho's 28. Texas is 20. Arkansas is 26. That's the per capita gun ownership in the states that are primarily red. You probably don't want to visit there.
Okay, I lied. It's 11.
Oh, I didn't think it was 2. I knew it was higher than that.
Yeah, I was trying to be conservative, but I was wrong. Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah,
more
Arizona. That's big time wrong.
But Arizona. Them busting into a couple of the stores, and then suddenly they all just start running back out.
No, because guess what? Yeah, those shotguns hurt a lot, and they make big owies. They're not just like singular pinpoint owies. Well, if you're a responsible gun owner, you're not using target shot because you don't want to fire through that person and the next person in the wall.
Well, there's that.
Yeah.
Anyway, back on topic.
Yeah, let's get back to the article.
Back to the article. For people who because I can't speak. For people who haven't read your book, God, you should see a recording at times where it's like I'll get all the way through perfect, and I will fucking stumble on the last bit. It's like, God damn it!
I know. Then you sound like Porky Pig the rest of the time. You're just like,
that's all, folks.
The looting is highly rational.
Yeah.
I've started leaving it in because I'll get to a certain point and I'll be halfway through and I'll be like, flip it. I'll just say, excuse me, sorry, whatever.
Yeah, there's times I will.
Half as much as when people are doing shit outside my room when I'm trying to record, and it's like, fuck, I'm gonna have to re-record this because people won't either shut the fuck up or go away and not be loud so I can record.
There's times where I do, and there's times where I'm like, fuck it, I'll just re-record it. It depends on how much time I certainly get that point when it's like 12:45 and I want to go to bed. It's like you'll see like my video will start off with a lot more energy, and by the time I'm done, I'm like, okay, and I'm reading like this, and we're done. Good night, folks. Yeah, so it's pretty funny because like my not my Pelosi video, but the video I did before that with this whole CG thing, it's like I start off high energy and I'm like this thing dragged on way too fucking long. First off, the way he wrote his article, it was very difficult for me to read out loud, and it was like some of his word choice is like, dude, seriously, oh god, I hate these like fucking intellectual types that just like write these hoity-toity articles that are just fucking stupid, and
it's the same problem today with the aristocracy that we had in the 1700s with the aristocracy. They're so out of touch because they don't have to deal with ordinary concerns. Well, they'll literally
not only that, his whole argument was bullshit, and he undoes it at the end and doesn't realize it, which is basically that the reason why there's like so much research into making white people look real as CG characters is because of the whole issue with translucency, which I kind of cover in the article. So it's apparent that to make a darker skinned character look realistic takes less effort.
Therefore, less effort was expended on doing it because it was easier.
So it's just it's idiocy, and it's anyway. Let me get the super chat and we'll get back to it real quick. So, hey, Vicky, what's the meaning of life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentations of the women.
That actually reminds me of a video I have to send you where a guy literally spends like 20 minutes saying how Conan the Barbarian is the avatar of toxic masculinity.
You're wrong. The answer to everything is 42.
Now I just want to read this article talking like Arnie.
Oh God!
This stupid lady person or whatever. I don't want to.
For people who haven't read your book, how would you define looting?
I don't want to misgender you, but you look like a girly man.
Yeah, it's like when we start getting books that we're reading or going through on my show, and Kat will bust into her Valley Girl or idiot teenage girl voice just to make it more interesting.
Yeah. It just makes it that much more difficult to read, though. When I use the word looting, I mean the mass exportation of property, mass shoplifting during a movement or of upheaval or riot. That's the thing I'm defending. I'm not defending any situation where property is stolen by force. It's not a home invasion either. It's about a certain kind of action that's taken during protests and riots.
Bullshit. You're making excuses. Looting is literally what you're just describing.
That's what she described looting. Yeah.
She's describing theft. She's describing any kind of theft. She's describing stealing overtly. Again, I think, where does she live? Because I think we should have a group of people, go there and
I wouldn't
show
go to that
her.
point, but
Hey, I would.
And
Well, here's the thing, okay?
Here's I think where she's going wrong. She thinks that because it's out on the shelves and no one is physically there to stop them from taking it, that it's not theft. But let me explain to you the basic fundamentals of economics, my darling. The point of a transaction is because the notion is if you give someone something without paying for it in kind, an imbalance has occurred. Likewise, if someone who is intending to sell shit puts shit on a shelf to display it for people wanting to consume it, and the people who take it off the shelves do not reciprocate in kind, an imbalance has occurred. And that imbalance is what we refer to as theft in the land of the people who actually have to do shit for a living and or think for a living.
Yeah.
What this is they're trying to restructure the narrative so when all this shit is over with, they can use the argument, well, all the things that you claimed, were crimes weren't really crimes because, the things that people, because then it would make the cops right all this time, blah, 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 blah.
Well, this is the best part. She's in this next paragraph is going to talk about how, in a nutshell, that the word loot is racist. Okay.
Oh, Jesus Lord.
Yeah. Looting is a highly racialized word.
I didn't want to jump to that, but I was like,
very inception in the English language.
I read this article.
I'll shut up. I was going to say something about, but I'm not going to.
Go ahead. Say it.
No, it's just this whole thing, like we've said from the start, from this, go way, 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 way back to the beginning of this, when we flat out said, like, this is the wrong way of going about this because all people are doing is perpetuating the stereotype. Right here, this article right here is exactly that.
Yep.
It's trying to make an excuse for the perpetuation of the stereotype that is now going to happen at the end of all this. Because what have we said from the beginning of this shit on this very show most times is all you're creating is an entirely new generation that has a new reason to be racist that never would have before.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's going to take every single one of us here on this panel and all of you that are out there in the audience and everybody who watches this in the future. It's going to take all of us together to try to change their mind. That
it's not going to happen. These people are too radicalized.
No. But we're going to have to change the people's mind that there is no reason to be racist just because of these few bad actors.
Oh, yeah. I see what you're talking about.
Yeah, so we got to start all over again. Yeah.
Well, we're basically going to have to make the freaking same arguments that the new atheists had to make in the Bushite era against Christianity again.
Not even that. Go back to 1964. So we have to start. We're going to have to start all the way back there. And it's going to be a long haul, but it's going to be worth it because maybe we'll be able to push enough of these.
They won't be able to do this.
I was going to say, you try to explain it to a 4-year-old or a 6-year-old who's living on the street because, either their apartment building was burned down or their parents' business was burned down and they can't afford, housing anymore, whatever's going on. Or like that kid who got killed in the Chad or whatever, all this shit. It's like, come on, you explain that to them. And then explain and then sit there and go, well, you shouldn't feel that way. It's like, well, bullshit. You're giving 110 reasons why they should hate every single fucking person on the face of the earth.
Yeah, and
you're right, Tom.
Studies show that the default position is basically not to give a fuck. The default position about race, if you don't introduce the idea of race to your children, they won't give a fuck. They will not give a fuck.
You're right.
But
you end up with someone like me.
Reasons to give a fuck, then they'll give a fuck.
Okay, so let me finish this paragraph real fast.
Sorry.
No, because this thing just aggravates the shit out of me. So looting is a highly racialized word from its very inception in the English language. It's taken from the Hindi loot, which means goods or spoils. And it appears in an English colonial officer's handbook on Indian vocabulary in the 19th century. It's like,
okay, no, it's from Old English, first of all, or
Yes.
at least partly it's from Old English, but that's neither here nor there. Even if it means good or service in Hindi, there's nothing that implies that involves stealing until you view it in the
goods or
broader
spoils
context.
is the reason why they're saying.
Well,
that.
here's another question: Do the Hindus use it in the same way?
I don't know. It's a very good question.
Well, the Hindu,
Well,
a
the
lot
answer-
of the Hindus were from India, which was very anglicized during the occupation of the British Empire. So probably.
No, I do. Does colloquial Hindi, is that one of the usages of that word?
No, and it actually goes even farther back than that. It goes all the way back to Sanskrit. So fuck this person. I don't know what the hell they're talking about.
During the uprising of the past summer, rioting and looting have often gone hand in hand. Can you talk about the distinction you see between the two? Rioting generally refers to any moment of mass unrest or upheaval. Riots are a space in which a mass of people has produced a situation in which the general law that governs society no longer function. No shit, because it fucking broke down. And people can act in different ways in the street and in public. I'd say that rioting is a broader category in which looting appears as a tactic. So I love this idea that rioting is fine, everything's fine. That's how I'm kind of interpreting this.
Yeah,
and it's like this is the breakdown of society at this point. When
it's the dog meme. It's the dog in the house on fire going, "This is fine." This is literally what this is.
It's fine. Yeah. Often looting is more common among movements that are coming from below. It tends to be an attack on a business, a commercial space, maybe a government building, taking those things that would otherwise be commodified and controlled and sharing them for free.
Commodified, which means sold as a consumer good to people who are purchasing them. You feckless human being.
I love this notion because the idea that, and it gets used a lot, free. The shit is not free. Somebody has to pay for it. Okay, whether it is the business owner, if it's a mom and pop shop, or if it is a large corporation, that doesn't magically manifest out of nowhere. Somebody spent money, they went in, they stole it, and then they're redistributing it.
And what's more, if we take this all the way back to like the barter era, people got goods because some other person had to make that good. And usually the person you dealt with directly was the person who made the thing.
Yeah, the whole thing with money, it just made that process easier because if you go, hey, I need a barrel of hay, or excuse me, a bale of hay. I got some chickens. Oh, I don't need chickens. I need goats.
But my cousin Frank needs some chickens.
Yeah, I mean it's
just
bartering. I get, but money makes it that much easier. I go, I sell my product. I go and buy some fucking hay.
Look, here's the thing, like to fundamentally like break this down, I get where a lot of this like thought process comes from is like, oh, we got to systematically tear it down from the top because that's where the problem lies. I get that. But at the same time, you're not putting anything in its place to fix it. That's the problem.
Right.
Like at least the hippies back in the day and the civil rights movement and the feminist movement back in the day, they knew what was wrong. They pinpointed it, but then they also made suggestions on how to change it. And a lot of those people went on to be senators and all these other things to where they actually made fucking changes.
And
for the first term or two in office, and
still,
held.
just the point. Like, who was it? I forget his name. I'm so sorry, but he just died like 2-3 weeks ago. He was one that was a big part of the civil rights movement. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Ah, damn it! But like that's what I'm talking about. Like them are the last of that kind, to where like you got all these people in there now who are, like you said, are just all for themselves and all for one. And I'm talking about both sides. It's not just one. It's every side.
No, it's 100% right. Yeah, the minute we had people that were running to continue to run for government, the minute that we had people that no longer represented the places they were from because they didn't live there anymore. That's the point at which they lost touch with their community, their constituency, the people they were there to represent.
they just became an elected version of the aristocracy of old, and that's my issue.
Exactly.
That's my fundamental issue with all of this crap, because we got rid of the aristocracy because this kind of shit didn't fly back in the day, and yet now we have people who will like go through the rigmarole of election just to be the new aristocracy. And I'm sorry, but this is America. We don't need no stinking aristocracy.
You're 100% right.
Actually represent us. God damn it.
You're 100% right, Dalton. And when they go about the business of telling you that this is not what the founding fathers intended, when you ever hear that out of a politician's mouth, you say, you know what they also didn't intend? Number one, for you to be paid for what you're doing. Number two, for you to have more than 1 or 2 terms in the position that you're in. So if you want to start talking about what the founding fathers intended, you are well off base in maintaining your position in Washington for more than 2 to 4 years.
They were individualistic liberals. You want to read Common Sense by Thomas Paine and tell me where that appears? You want to read me, John Locke and tell me where that appears? I will wait. I will be waiting for
no, because they don't want us to tell us the truth, and the truth is they shouldn't be making more than fucking police officers and firemen and teachers, and that's why we have such shitty firemen, police officers, and teachers. Yeah, because it's not worth it. And so you get the wrong type of people in that kind of a job. And the moment you start pointing the finger and saying, "Wait a minute, you're the fucking problem here. You guys shouldn't be making no more than minimum fucking wage in this job." Period.
Yeah, and then you know what? The minimum wage is go up a fucking shitload.
Kind of disagree. I think that they should be able to. If you're putting your life on hold, I do think that you should be able to make money to.
Yeah,
live.
It's a job. Okay, fine.
It is a job.
But the problem is most of these people already are millionaires. That's the fucking problem.
Well, that's one of the problems.
That's one of the problems. Yes.
And therein lies the issue.
Or they turn into Bernie Sanders and they become millionaires in the job. But that's not the point. It's
because he fucking sold out. That's why.
Well, no, for sure. But it's, again, libertarian here, so I have no dogs in the fight. But look, it's a situation where you were originally supposed to go to work for 6 weeks because you could not be away from your law practice, your doctor's office. You couldn't be away from your fields when you were elected as a politician in the day, right? So you would travel to Washington. You would travel to Washington. Travel was a big freaking deal back then, kids. It was not super easy, even when we went from 13 colonies into 13 states and so on and so forth, and the District of Columbia, which we should talk about at length. Someday I'll educate everybody about DC, but we'll get there one day. Anyway,
that's more of a 4th of July conversation. I could see.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I can go for 2.5 hours by myself on DC all alone. But honestly, though, they were not supposed to be there for that period of time. Their compensation was bupkis. They were elected representatives of their community. Their community benefited from them going to Washington. We have no benefits from the people that represent us right now. We haven't for a very long time. Because the best that they do is the first 2 to 4 years that they occupy any of the offices that they're in. And from that point forward, they are doing nothing but representing themselves.
And the thing that kills me about that is not only do they not represent us, they actively resent the idea that they should. They view populism
that's the whole Pelosi thing, dude. Yeah,
they view populism as a dirty word. And this breaks my brain because where does the word populism come from? It comes from the word populace. What's another word for populace in the same ancient Greek and Roman tongues that you're talking about? Demos. What does the word demos have to do with anything? That's where we get the word democracy, you stupid fucks. So how exactly the fuck in a democratic republic, in a representative democratic republic, does it make any sense for a democracy to be anti-populism?
I'm also glad that you said representative republic, because that is actually what we live in, true democracy.
Well, yeah, I was being overly pedantic about it. But point being, how the fuck did we get to a place where in a representative democratic republic, it became a bad thing to serve the populace and be a populist?
Oh, well, it's because we're a bunch of dirty plebs. That's why, Dalton.
Hence the aristocracy comparison I was making earlier.
Yeah.
But God damn it. Like, intellectually, this just breaks my brain, because it's like, you should be proud to be a populist. It should be a virtue in a democracy, dumbass. demos and populist are
It just doesn't
synonyms
work
in the
with
languages we're
elitism
talking about.
is the issue.
Well, and that's why these people are these are the elites. The elites separate themselves from us. One of the things that this pandemic is doing is it's creating
Did you say
more
pandemic?
have-nots. Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Well,
it creates.
No,
it
I
creates.
want to make sure I heard it right. I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. It creates more have-nots. You watching the wipeout of the middle class, the small businessman, the people that make the economy go. And yes, they still do. It's not the big box stores. It's not Jeff Bezos. Which what's really funny is the Marxists are putting out like guillotines in front of his house, which I think is hysterically funny because the richest man in the world didn't get that way, from anybody other than those of you in Antifa who've been supporting
I
him all.
They bought the majority of that stuff off Amazon.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Either that or they went to Alibaba or some shit. But anyway, which, China, that's the thing is they want to tear it down, and replace it with nothing. So you're going to have an entire populace in squalor, which means essentially the people who have foisted this all upon us will be the ones that'll be subjected to the ire of everybody who has been destroyed or has had their lives changed. And they just don't get it because it happens every time. The first people they kill in any kind of revolution are the leaders of the revolution to begin with. Yep. So, there's no look at what's happening in North Korea right now, which nobody's freaking covering. There's a silent coup that's happening, and there's so much stuff going on in the world that we're not aware of.
In North Korea, there's a silent coup going on.
Oh yeah,
I don't. Yeah,
is it the whole thing with the sister trying to take over?
Yeah.
I really didn't. Well, I derailed it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, being that as it may, we should get back on point.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you talk about writing as a tactic? What are the reasons people deploy it as a strategy? It does a number of important things. It gets people what they need for free immediately.
Except for the fact, darling, that most of what's being looted is luxuries. And
she talks about it. She talks about it, Dalton.
Wow. Go ahead.
Which maybe not in this paragraph, but she does talk about it. Which means that they are capable of living and reproducing. Make sure I'm reading that right. Reproducing their lives without having to rely on a job or a wage, which during COVID times is widely unreliable or particularly in these communities is often not available. I love, my God.
And whose fault is that?
Yeah, exactly. Whose first, good point, Ishi. Whose fault is that? That's kind of the key thing. That is honestly the big thing. There's several areas of responsibility. There's that individual responsibility as well as you could say the cities that they live in.
Mm-hmm. But
oh
okay, let's go through it, darling. The thing about the current state of the world is it didn't happen organically. Most of the negative repercussions of COVID-19 or the coronavirus or whatever you want to call it are not actually anything to do with the death rate or the sickness rate or the symptoms or anything like that. It's because people reacted to those stimuli by shutting the world down and now are wondering, we shut the world off. Why is it going to hell? Well, gee, I wonder. It's almost like we live in a universe with a cause and effect upgrade, you dumbasses.
I know. That's the big thing that I think most people don't understand is cause and effect, individual responsibility, actions and consequences. This last sentence is going to kill you, Dalton. That's looting's most basic tactical power as a political mode of action. Again, it's all about power. What happened when Chadwick Boseman died? What did they say? They didn't say rest in peace. They said rest in power.
Yep.
I swear to fucking God. As someone who very much does pride himself on logic and procedure and rationality and order, hearing someone who knows none about tactics or strategy, talk about tactics and strategy when what they really mean is willful and malicious chaos is just it makes me want to put someone's head through a wall.
Well, and
Probably
again,
my
this
own.
all plays into what I've been talking about. What the whole thing is, the goal is to dismantle Western civilization. This is just another tactic in that toolbox.
And we need to eliminate those or imprison those those are their efforts or their goals.
But they're
That's
not
the problem.
They're letting these people go.
Because
I agree with
they
you.
agree with them on a philosophical level, and given that these are the aristocrats who have no practical or pragmatic needs, they can convince themselves that completely irregardless of physical reality, this is how the world works, because they can live in a world that is entirely comprised of aristocracy. And why wouldn't they? They don't have any hunger. They don't have any, things denied them on practical terms. So it makes sense for them to go, well, yeah, physical reality doesn't really matter. It's just an extension of the realm of ideas, or the realm of the forms, as Plato would put it, which is kind of a slander on Plato, because that's not what he fucking meant.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the same sort of ideas trump reality, therefore we can just ignore reality and focus entirely on this weird abstract chess game of this idea beating that idea.
Yeah, that's not how it works in the real world. The world isn't fair. It's the veil of, you know what, if I get into this argument, we'll go for 4 hours.
We'll be here.
And that's the big thing, is that life isn't fair. You're not always going to get the best, hand of cards. Okay, some people get cancers and they die, and that fucking sucks. But that's part of life.
Yeah, you're born with cancer sometimes. I mean, there's awful things that happen in the human condition, and guess what? You're rolling the dice as to who you're born to. I mean, unfortunately. Yeah. Well, I mean, you could be the bad sperm in your dad's sack. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, it's the thing that happens, that you roll the dice in life, and if you look at it in any other way, then I can't help you, because you're not being realistic. So since we understand the way the world works, which is it's not fair, then you just need to establish a set of laws, like we have in this country, that manages the level of fair, so that at least everybody has an equal playing field. And the argument has been made for many years that the playing field is not equal. That's not true. Since 1964 and subsequently the 8 years that followed, every single thing that could possibly be done was done to make sure that everybody played by a level playing field. Mm-hmm. And we did not need and do not need any additional laws added to the law books right now, because every single law conceivable by man is either been written or is essentially based on the Constitution of the United States, which is the law of the land. The law of the land guarantees your freedom. It guarantees your liberty. It guarantees all of the rights that you should have been born with into this world, at least in this country.
But see, that's the fundamental thing here. We don't even need to get into ideas like fairness and equality to have this argument, because what they should be focusing on, and this is the thing I get into with a lot of other people who are on the left, because I policy-wise am on the left. Don't shoot me. But being that as it may, what you should be focusing on is not equality or fairness or any of that crap. It should be making sure that the quality of life is as good as it can be for as many people as it can be, being as utilitarian as possible about it.
Okay, real quick, I want to read this because this plays into what we're talking about, which is funny. So Miguel Hernandez is saying, Daily Wire is reporting that the NPR editor is admitting that Osterweil was allowed to spread false information. That makes sense that they put that disclaimer up.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, that's
hilarious. but they still endorsed it and still keep it as it is on the site. That's the ironic thing, because these people, they're not concerned with practicalities or anything. They're concerned with ideas and worldviews, and because they share the worldview of these people, it means that when they do bad things, it's for the greater good, and that means it's advisable.
That's a communist idea.
And justify the means.
Communist idea, socialist idea, Marxist idea. That's exactly what you're saying, Dalton. And they agree with that worldview, and that's what they've been teaching in colleges for many, many, many years.
Yep.
Yeah, which is why everybody coming out.
It's the same shit that inspired both the Nazis in Germany and the fascists in Italy, because they all were educated by the Frankfurt School of Critical Theory is what it's called. And ironically, communism and fascism came out of that same ideology. That same overarching
greater good bullshit. Yeah. There is no the greater good is a nice idea experiment, but again, good. It doesn't work. It doesn't work because it doesn't work in the world. It doesn't. And here's the problem: human beings are pre-wired, despite all of our ethical constructs, our moral constructs, despite all of these things, to take care of oneself. Now we can rise above that concept and create opportunities to be greater than oneself, but reduced to the base, human beings will act in their own self-interest most of the time.
See, this is one of the areas where I'm gonna play devil's advocate and disagree with you, because there is hypothetically such a thing as the greater good. The problem is
the greater
greater good, a proper greater good, would account for as many variables as possible, rather than ignoring variables. And this is the problem with communism, and this is the problem with the highfalutin moral intellectualism that we're dealing with. Rather than acknowledge human nature for what it is, or even understand human nature, they section off the base aspects of human nature, the self-interested parts, and completely bet on the higher and more empathetic kind. And you can't.
But it doesn't work out.
You can't. Yeah, I know, but you can't make a human system, and that's my point. You can't make a human system by ignoring variables. If you truly want to make a system that works for an actual functional greater good, a substantive greater good, you need to account for as many variables as possible. You can't just willfully ignore variables you don't like because they're inconvenient to your narrative. You dumbasses. Be logical, be procedural, be rational. But
no. Frankfurt School is anti-rationality or logic.
Yes, I know, because it's very subjectivist and very abstract. Again, therein lies the problem.
Exist. Okay, let's be honest.
I missed what you said, Ishii. What was that?
Go ahead. Yeah, do it again.
Frankfurt School, a lot of what motivated that is communism fell apart, and there were a bunch of pedos who needed a reason to justify their behaviors and say that morality.
No. See,
but they can in California now. It's more than justified. They just legalized it.
The thing is, Ishii, the Frankfurt School actually predates communism. It inspired communism and fascism. Actually, it was really founded by a bunch of people who, after World War I, found that there was no value in the world. That's where you get ideas like Dadaism, for example, the idea that you can invert everything about art and still call it art, because in their minds, a world that created World War I, the travesty that was World War I, can have no intrinsic value. So they kept studying ideas until they came up with a way for intrinsic value not to exist. And the problem is, eventually they started applying it to things like science. It was called post-structuralism. And then they applied it to the arts, and then they applied it to everything else. The idea essentially is pure abject nihilism, because a bunch of people who got shell-shocked during World War I were given to nihilism after that. And I can't really blame them from a personal perspective, but on a existential level, I am fundamentally opposed to the idea that value doesn't exist. And I will die to protect the idea that value exists independent of human woo. That's why I call myself the Authenticator, because value exists, goddammit, and I will die before I.
It does exist. All right.
I took a lot of these classes when I was in San Francisco State when I was going to college there, and it was a Jean-Paul Sartre and Foucault. I mean, you go to read their writings, and just how often it starts with the notion, okay, well, nothing means anything, and it's okay that I want to bang kids. It is fucking there.
Oh man, that's
these terrible, terrible things. It shows up. I'm not making this up.
Oh no,
I know. I was correcting your order of events, I guess.
But look, it's the problem is that we never. Well, you know what? I'm not even going to do it because if we go down the Petachild thing, it's going to take me freaking hours.
Let's not
John
even.
Woo!
Let's not even go there and get back to the thing.
I forgot Tom was even here. It's like the
was
first
waiting
time I
to
heard
he
see
went
Tom
to
that.
speak.
sleep.
I was about to come in there after somebody said the Woo thing again. And I was like, hey, fuck John Woo.
Shellback's like, what are
John
you
Woo
walking
is
in?
the problem.
I know. I just
We're talking about the Frankfurt School of boy buggery, I think.
yeah, or San Francisco State, or some,
Yeah.
I don't know, or pretty much all of
the
California.
philosophies that are just trash.
Post shell shock pseudo philosophy, basically.
Oh, by the way, the celebrities are excited because it's going to be safe for them to come back because California legalized Pizzagate, basically.
Are you serious?
Please
Tell me you're fucking with me.
No.
Okay, so now there's a 10-year differential window. So if the child is 14 and you're 23, you're safe. Well, you're safe from being on the registry, at least for the first time. So the first time you get caught, if there's not more than a 10-year window, you're not going to go on the registry. So then you'll get a second chance to do something wrong when you get out of jail or diversion or whatever else bullshit they come up with California, because they don't imprison anybody anymore. Unless you have 3 strikes because you didn't freaking pay your child support, then you're in fucking prison. But you go murder 6 people, you're in and out. It's a freaking revolving door.
Yeah.
Freaking hate these people.
Between adults, a 10-year window makes sense because between adults, it's not really a huge difference. But
right.
Good goddamn.
Rape is rape, bro.
Yeah, pretty much. Fucking California, man.
If I can add one thing before we get back on topic.
Go for it, Ishii.
When I was in college, I did actually work with a lot of these peace groups and activist groups. I came from an extremely left-leaning family, so I was trying to follow the footsteps of my parents. And one thing I found while working for a lot of these groups was that they'd come in with the best of intentions. They'd have this very high utopian view of the world. And the longer they were there, the more they realized their ideas didn't work. And so they would cook up ever increasingly bizarre and ludicrous conspiracy theories as to why things were the way they were.
Mm-hmm.
Which is exactly how the Frankfurt School got founded in the first place, basically.
And it usually always ended in white and successful people, evil. That's it. That is the solution. That, the noble savage would really have utopia if it weren't white people. It's this, it's that. I mean, and
the notion that if it weren't for the British Empire and or the Greco-Roman Empire,
or moral,
black people would be living in Wakanda or some variation on Wakanda. I've seen that a lot lately. Yeah.
Eventually, it would then end in all we have to do is kill these people, and it'll all be okay.
Everybody
go this direction.
Everybody raped and enslaved everybody, and we're all descended from Genghis Khan, so everybody just needs to take a chill pill.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Yeah, that's the problem. The past didn't suck specifically for women or specifically for minorities. The past sucked for everyone because the past was shitty.
That's the thing that I think these people don't get. And the funny thing too is that a lot of people that say women have always been oppressed up till now is like, you fucking don't know history.
Look at men. Never ever look at men because they'll realize.
Not just that, but it's like the whole idea is that peasants in England were actually pretty egalitarian. So to say that they were oppressed because institutional power, it's like you're fucking stupid.
That's the great irony though of traditionalism. Traditionalism crapped on both sides of the issue. A lot of people say that traditional values were only ever non-beneficial for women, but let's take an extreme example. Let's look at the Middle East for a second.
Well, hey, we went down a rabbit hole again. I want to steer it back to the article.
Wait. Whoa. There's somebody in the chat. LK, you're right. I was not diving into the complexity of the issue, but essentially what I said is, it's not. I don't know that if it's a big win for LGBTQ, LMNOP plus QRS TV. I have no idea if that's a win. But because I don't demonize any of the people in that would be part of that group of humanity, specifically because I have an affinity for Dalton and many other people. But I can tell you that I was trying to make it overly simplified that you really don't, if it's your first offense, the kid's within 10 years, you're safe. So and that's a problem. I mean, you're not safe in that you won't be charged, you won't go to jail, you won't have to do some kind of sentence. I'm saying that, that's your one, I'm not going to go on the registry. But the next time you will go on the registry. So, but that's just a second opportunity or a third opportunity or a 10th opportunity. You don't know how many kids it's going to take, because a lot of these young folks don't talk about the fact that they were diddled by an older person. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I did make light. Well, I don't know if I made light of it, but I oversimplified it. But you're absolutely right, LK, and I appreciate the statement.
Okay. Anyway, back on point, because we have some stupidity that needs to be eviscerated.
Yes. And real quick, Tux Manflu for $2. What does this have to do with John Woo sucking?
Nothing.
John Woo
awesome.
sucks.
Oh dear.
All right.
Really, Tom?
Whoa.
It's also it also attacks the very way in which food and things are distributed. It attacks the idea of property.
Too, okay.
What was that?
I said I fucking hated Mission Impossible 2, okay?
But John Woo's made a lot of other films, Tom. Lots of other films. You know what? On Tuesday midday show that we do for the Entertainment Talk, we'll talk about John Woo. How about
Please
that?
Don't. I was kidding. Please don't.
Okay, but anyway, God damn it. Back on point.
Okay.
Please.
It attacks the idea. It attacks the idea of property, and it attacks the idea that in order for someone to have a roof over their head or have a meal ticket, they have to work for a boss in order to buy things that people just like them somewhere else in the world had to make under the same conditions.
Okay, 3 points. 3 points. Number one, those aren't the same thing. The idea of property and working for someone are not the same thing. Point the second, there are self-employed people, you absolute dumbass. And there are entertainers and things that don't work for anyone but their patrons, i.e. almost the entirety of any online creator. Yeah, hi,
YouTube.
Whatever.
YouTube, OnlyFans, whatever. Yeah.
And point the third, I can't believe I'm having to point this out, but people like owning things. People like having nice things and being able to say,
own things,
these
man.
Nice things are my nice things, and no one is permitted to destroy them or harm them or do damage to them or what have you. People like nice things, and by virtue of the fact that those nice things are an extension of themselves, which they are, they like being able to say these nice things are permanent to my person, or at least as permanent as I allow them to be. This is fundamental human psychology 101 shit, but nevertheless, I feel the need to explain it because apparently people don't get, despite having a preponderance of nice things, that people like having nice things. Oh, damn it.
People do. It's pretty funny. So, Tom, you're getting called out for your hate of doves. So Macany 90s for $5.
I'll make those fucking doves cry.
Tom,
this is what it sounds like when doves cry.
What if John Woo was using black doves instead?
I don't give a fuck. Doves are doves. Is there even such a thing as a black dove? I asked that, and then there is, I'm sure, a black dove, but never mind.
Somebody Google that.
Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly. Sorry.
All your
life.
Okay, let's get back to it. It points to the way in which that. Sorry, I can't read today. The great thing too is the eye floaty thing occasionally will come over something that fucks things.
Oh no!
Yeah,
I know.
It points to the way in which that unjust. That's unjust. Okay, and the reason that the world is organized that way, obviously, is for profit of people who own stores and factories. Okay. Yeah,
some of which are self-employed or small business owners, you dumbass.
Yeah, it's like People who own stores.
Basically,
want
what
to make
America
money.
is founded
no
on.
Shit. So you get to the heart of that property relations and demonstrate that without police and without state oppression, we can have things for free. Oh my God.
There is no free, you stupid fuck.
Free. There is no fucking free. I don't get this idea.
And I don't know why you would. I don't know why you would want a notion of free in that sense, because the thing is, part of what makes us so prone to loving nice things is the effort we go through to either make them, get them, or transact for them.
Well, that's the point, right, Dalton? Is that the fact that first off, there's raw materials. Then there's the time to go and crafting that
These
material.
are the type
into
of
something.
people who feel like who think that a cow kills itself, chops itself up, and delivers itself to the fucking store, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Actually, in Douglas Adams, the restaurant at the end of the universe, the cow actually introduced. Yeah, it's
God
meet the
damn
meat.
I told you the answer is 42. You didn't listen to me.
That's why I like Mecha Random's channel the most.
I love this nonsense of everything would just be free. Well, no. Okay.
How much you want to bet this person's just pissed they had to pay for the transition surgery?
Maybe. That should be. It should be free. I love what Tim Pool said. Was it?
It is in prison.
I demand health care. You walk into a doctor. I demand health care because it's free now. I demand health care.
Yeah, that doesn't work that way.
No.
They did. Oh gosh. Comics. This is where I can derail the whole universe because I'm so angry about the healthcare thing. So
yeah, well, like I said, that's a separate issue. But
let's not. And
I know. I'm keeping it contained right now.
We will have to get the libertarian stream going sometime.
I know, because I'm going to kill everybody. Oh wait, sorry.
Anyway.
I'm on your side.
Yeah, no, seriously. What is that, Tom?
Oh, Tom has a book. Oh no! Wait, is that the Condor Man car? Wait.
I have no idea what that is. It's the Bill and Ted.
Oh, okay. Dude, I love you.
Importantly, I think especially when it's in the context of a black uprising like the one we're living through now, it's also attacks the history of whiteness and white supremacy. The very basis of property in the U.S. is derived through whiteness and through black oppression.
Okay, I'm gonna provide an anecdote that completely.
Let me finish the sentence real quick.
I am here.
Her history of slavery and settlers' domination of the country.
Okay, now anecdote time. So I have a friend who on YouTube goes by Mr. E2099.
Mr. E is a cool dude.
He's awesome. Everyone should go check out his channel, but that's neither here nor there. So he is a computer programming major, and he was taking a logic class, and his white professor, who apparently has friends in Antifa and Black Lives Matter, basically told him in a long, contrived rant that he wasn't black because he didn't support Antifa and Black Lives Matter.
And if you see Mr. E, you know he's black.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. He is such a cool dude, you know?
Yeah. Dude is seriously awesome. And if I ever end up in a street fight, he's the one I'm calling.
Yeah, seriously, dude. He is a big dude, and we're talking about the whole thing with boxing and fighting. When I was like, dude, you'd kick the shit out of me. I mean, it's like I'm old.
And that's even taking out of account the fact that he has several black belts, which is also scary. But that's neither here nor there.
Anyway, it's like I said, he's definitely somebody you want in your corner in a fight for sure. Okay, let's see. Looting strikes at the heart of property, of whiteness, and of policing. And of the police. It gets to the very root of the way those three things are interconnected. And also it provides people with an imaginative sense of freedom and pleasure to help them imagine a world that could be. What? And I think that that's the part of it that doesn't really get talked about. That riots and looting are experiences, or excuse me, are experienced as sort of joyous and liberatory. They're basically liberating themselves, essentially.
Okay, number one, the things that are stolen during most looting sessions are not basic necessities. They're not food. They're not shelter. They're not.
She talks about that, Dalton. She talks about that.
They're just hungry. They just want bread. Listen to AOC. All they wanted was some bread.
All they want was.
I hate that at one point I supported the Justice Democrats. I really do, because that woman is
Dalton, oh my God, let them eat cake.
That woman is naive to the point of dangerousness.
I blame you, Dalton. I blame you.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't be the first time.
Okay. Jesus, man. The fucking
dude, seriously, I will give you $2 to stop reading this.
No,
did you already give me $2?
We need to finish because they're stupid that needs to be eviscerated.
Yeah, you're right. They're stupid that needs
we
to
are
be
never going to finish the stupid. We aren't. This is a giant amount of stupid. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Real quick, I want to call out Roger the Shrubber. I think Roger the Shrubber is one of my new supporters on Subscribestar. Thank you. I haven't managed to work you into the ending yet, but I will. And I need to talk to my top tier group to find out what you guys want out of the $20 tier, because I honestly have no ideas, and I don't want you guys to give me $20 a month for.
Wait, you
nothing.
have $20 patrons?
Yes, I do. I don't know why. I honestly set that up as a joke, not thinking that people would do it, but apparently,
Wes Moody has like the $10,000 a month patron. That's where he set his joke. That's where he set his joke tier.
Did somebody actually do it?
No, but I'm just saying. Yeah, it's called the Illuminati tier.
Oh, so, you jealousy causing fuck.
Oh my God!
I love Soul Assassin is calling me Comics Thought now.
You are, dude. You are. You need an OnlyFans page next. Sign that.
No, I'll leave it. I'll leave that.
Tom would go there. Tom would definitely sign up for your.
To sit up here and talk to you about this stuff, you better send me some money. What the fuck is wrong with you?
I just like the mental images my brain just conjured. I will be suing you all for grievous mental harm. God damn it!
If you've got time to sit on the internet, then you've got $5 to send Comics Division.
That's right.
Tom, stop talking right now, or I swear to God, I will.
Wait, I have that video somewhere. I have that clip.
Paying for themselves.
I can't. That is so fucking hilarious. That people.
What are you referencing?
What's that?
What?
No, this was a Twitch thought. That was saying
Invader V.
Like if you've got time to sit on the internet and watch me, then you've definitely got $5 to send me. There's no reason.
Oh God. Can we just nuke OnlyFans, please?
No, that was Twitch. I love this.
Talk to me for
$2. I do $20 a month to get you beard dye. Well, the sad thing is I actually have $20 a month for that. I just don't have time to do it. Was it? I actually clicked on you, show that Comics has an OnlyFans. No, I don't. But Az does. Az has an OnlyFans.
Wow.
Anyway, I don't know if that's actually true. Did Az actually set up OnlyFans, Tom?
I really don't know. I heard I thought somebody joked about it. I don't know if it's true.
Okay. Back to the article before I need
Diablo Dave.
This is great. I would sub to that
for comics.
Okay. Sub to that.
All right. Where are we at? Oh, okay. Here we are. What are some of the most common myths and tropes that you hear about looting? One of the ones that's been very popular that's both been used by Donald Trump and Democrats have been the outside agitator myth, that the people doing the riots are coming from the outside.
Actually, that's usually said as a defense of these riots and these looting. When people actually attempt to call these riots and these lootings on their shit, people actually that lead the riots and looting say, "Oh, that was just outside agitators." Like how many times have we heard "Oh, that was secretly a white nationalist that infiltrated the crowd that did that horrible destruction and or shooting somebody." Like, I'm impressed that you're disavowing your own defenders, darling, but you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot. Which, please do. It would make my life so much better to know that you were that incompetent.
Yeah. So, well, that's the thing, and the thing is, there are people that. Oh, that's fucking hilarious. Culture Casino. Is this the person?
That's her, Invader V. That's her right there.
Okay. Yep. So this is the one who said the whole $5 thing.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Okay. $5 foot long. Sorry.
Well, I don't know that she's
in that context she did not need to be there.
Yeah, I love that. I'm going to do that now. She's getting the $5 foot long treatment from. I'm going to do that. Or Perry.
Yeah. Also in the name of Fielding Archer, phrasing.
Well, I did that for a reason anyway. So yeah, well, that's the thing. There are plenty of times where with these riots and protests that people come out of town. I mean, Seattle is a really good example of that because back in the 90s when they had those, was it 90s? Maybe it was early 2000s. When they had those protests. Those protests. Well, it was funny because I was actually in Seattle that time when Bernie Sanders got assaulted by BLM and they stole his microphone. I was actually in Seattle when that happened.
I swear to.
And,
I apologize. It was $10. Excuse me. And I like little kids sitting on my lap.
So I was actually downtown. I was there with a friend, and we were going to this club, and we are talking about the whole thing with all the police. And the guy I was working with at the time, I was kind of telling him about it. And he's like, "Oh yeah, it's like we take our process very seriously."
And I got that hair on my leg.
Yeah, the WTO. Thank you. It was 1999. That was it. The WTO. I could not remember what it was.
How's my Biden culture?
You did a good job.
Yeah, it was pretty good. And now Culture Casino is in here twice.
That is the first time I've ever tried to do a Biden impression.
That was actually pretty good. All you have to do is
I'm sharing something. I'm sharing a thing.
I have no idea. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Okay.
Ready? Oh wait.
Ready.
Shoot. Okay. Let me tell you. Can you hear it? I don't know. Wait. No. You have to. I have to unshare it because I didn't cue the sound. So do it again. I'll do it.
America's a great country. I love America. I love pizza. Rabbits are great.
Let me try again. Dude, okay, so Scott from Sporking News podcast does an incredible Biden that I got him. I will have to play that for you guys sometime too because I died literally.
So what you're saying is he is the other Biden?
Yeah, it's great.
Put
so
my
here we go.
pants on just like everybody else does in the morning.
Tom, shut up for a minute.
One eyeball at a time.
How broke you are. If you have time to watch Twitch, you have $10. Truly, if you don't have $10, you probably don't have time to watch Twitch because you should be working. You should be trying to earn money. It's not a ton. It's not like a ton.
Bitch, go get a job.
The logic is gone in that, bitch. It's like if you got time to watch Twitch means you need to get a job.
Responsible with my money. I can't.
Ladies and gentlemen, the whore of Babylon.
That's what.
But I love the fucking logic. You need to be more responsible with your money so you can give me money.
You are. If you have time to watch Twitch, you have $10. Truly, if you don't have $10, you probably don't have time to watch Twitch because you should be working. You should be trying to earn money. It's not a ton.
Stop there. That pause she takes there? That's when she realizes how stupid it is what she just said.
What you mean to say is, I'm so irresponsible with my money, I can't support the entertainment that I enjoy.
my darling, I feel that if I were to go through the process of refuting your stupidity, I feel the need to call you madam, which I can't because in this case you actually kind of are one. So
very good. Sorry,
just so you know, people
levity.
watching the stream right now, you owe me nothing. Okay,
I'll be right back.
you owe me absolutely nothing.
which in actuality means everyone should give $10 super chats to commemorate this moment. Everyone do that. You're not shilling properly, comics. I'm gonna have to do it for you. Everyone do $10
I know I'm not shilling. There's a
moment.
reason why I don't shill, because it's, you know, it's not like I need the money. I do this a lot. Of course, right now super chat comes in.
I actually know how to show properly. Everyone, $10 super chat to commemorate this humor.
Here we go. Draco6 for $5. Breaking news: FBI and U.S. Marshals attempt to arrest Mike Rynacourt. I don't know. Anyway, the guy who killed the Trump supporter shot it out with the Fed's body bag. Yep.
All I know is if I'm giving a bitch $10, I better get at least a hand job out of the deal.
All right. Toxic Man flew $2 super chat. Now, if she were swallowing fruit on demand, dollars.
Now, yeah, you got a point there, Toxic. If she was like willing to do some things, never mind.
Oh God, Culture Casino, you are terrible. Here's my $10. Okay.
If you got time to watch
everybody remind comics to show properly next time.
If you got time to watch Culture Casino, then that means you probably got $10.
Trust me, if I get fired from my job because of YouTube, I will totally shill. Right now, I'm fine.
No, I mean, I'll be 100% clear. Like over on Midnight's Edge After Dark and shit, like we appreciate every fucking super chat. Don't matter how much it is. We know sometimes all you got is that $2 to send, man, and you don't even have to do that shit. It means a lot, you know. Yeah,
it certainly does, man. I mean, I do appreciate it. Trust me, I do.
And these bitches though, they're on there like it's like they expect the shit. Though if you don't send it, then they get belligerent with you.
I am showing you my thighs. You better send me money.
I don't understand.
I think it's a whole like fucking like fantasy thing. Like they literally think men, and it's true. Like there's these idiots out there who want women to control their money.
Gynocentrism is a son of a bitch sometimes.
Oh, dude, I know, Dalton.
Really is.
I know.
Eric K for $2. You said you need to say I owe you nothing, Caddyshack. Yeah,
you'll get nothing and like it.
Yeah, Caddyshack is a great movie.
Yeah. Anyway, back on topic. Before we get off on another tangent.
It's really easy though, because this thing makes me want to tear out everybody's hair and pull their nose hair out and then pull their hair.
Ted Knight, Tangent, Ted Nugent.
This is funny. Miguel Hernandez, man, you crack me up, man. You really do. Here, $2 super chat. Here's a few bucks for your gnarly soul patch. I think it's a little longer than just a soul patch. Okay. This is a classic. This one goes back to slavery, when plantation owners would claim that it was the freedmen and Yankees coming south and giving the slaves these crazy ideas that they are real human beings. What the fuck are you talking about?
Okay.
And that's why they revolt. Oh, it's like, for fuck's sake. You
Do you see why NPR had to actually like disavow this Bolshevik? I mean,
it's still posted there, though.
No, but they can't.
But this is the quote from the interview.
They didn't even fully disavow it. They just were like, please don't get mad at us for the stupid shit we're gonna say anyway, but we're gonna say it anyway.
Oh my God, they're equating looting and people saying
with slaves rebelling from their masters. Yeah. Yes. And while we're here, slavery was not a race issue, you dumbasses. The reason why there were more black slaves than any other variety of slave is because African kings were willing to send their own people. And I noticed that no bugger is willing to defend the Irish's reparation money, even though the Irish were actually transported by their own governments, usually. It was called transportation. Look it the fuck up.
Yeah. Anyway, that's a whole complicated mess too. Anyway, Well, let me finish off this paragraph and I'll get back to super chats. So
Comics, I sent you $10. That's how much this article makes me want to cry.
Another trope that's very common is the looters and rioters are not part of the protest. They are not part of the movement. That has to do with history of protests trying to appear respectable and politically legible.
Legible,
again,
yeah, they're
Politically legible.
Again, dear, you're actually undermining your own defenders here, because that's usually what organizers of these protests and these riots say in response to people calling them on their shit. They say, "Oh, those people aren't with us. Those people
They're not with us.
Are radicals or some shit."
Yeah, you're giving the fist of love to the people that you're trying to support. You don't even understand it.
Yeah,
this is
you're
how dumb this
you're
chick
actually
is.
helping our side of the argument more, which inadvertently, but thank you. You make our lives so much easier when you literally just you literally say the quiet part out loud and just unravel your own bullshit. But thanks.
Yeah.
The sad thing is she doesn't even realize she's doing it, and that's the thing that hurts my brain a little bit. Like,
well, that's the thing that happens a lot with these arguments in these articles is that they completely undo their argument at some point.
I bet the reason is she thinks she's in such the right position. She thinks she's such in the more right that this makes her the rebellious underdog sticking it to the man. She's basically it'd be like if at the end of Star Wars, after Luke blew up the Death Star, he came out and was like, "Yeah, I blew up the Death Star," and then got praised for it. That's what she's expecting. She's expecting that she'll basically get to come out and say, "No, that was us. We did that," and then people actually agree with her, because in these people's minds, it's like a 80s or 90s inspirational movie, and they're the underdogs fighting the big bad traditionalist patriarchy.
Yeah,
that's what these people view the world as.
Okay,
sticking it to the man, is that anything like pegging?
Yes, it's absolutely
as the token gay in the chat. No, that's not what that is like.
Okay, just making sure. I'm taking some notes here.
Mahogany Monday, Teak Tuesday. I used to make a lot of pegging jokes with a friend of mine.
I don't know if that's a good thing or bad.
Okay, all right. So backstory.
Would that friend be Preston? Is that Preston?
No.
Oh.
It was two friends I used to work with, and one of them, she got was it MRSA, and we were making jokes about how she's going to have her leg amputated, and so she was going to have a peg leg, and so that just led into pegging jokes with our other friend.
Oh my.
So, yeah. So the idea was like different peg legs. So yeah.
Anyway, that story went dark quick.
Yeah, that was.
Well, she didn't have to lose her leg, so it wasn't a big deal. Another one is that looters are just acting as consumers. Why are they taking flat screen TVs instead of rice and beans? Like if they were just surviving, it would be one thing, but they're taking liquor. All these tropes come down to claiming that the rioters and looters don't know what they're doing.
No, they absolutely know what they're doing. You freaking stupid cow!
No shit.
Look, this chick. Okay, so no, I'm not going to do it. I won't do it. I name calling bad. Go ahead.
Yeah, name calling bad.
I'm sorry.
They're acting, in a disorganized way, maybe an animalistic way, but the history of the movement for liberation.
It's called baser instincts, you absolute twat. Because when human beings turn off the rational part of their brains, the frontal lobes, the instinctive parts that we evolved earlier take over, as in the amygdala, the fight or flight response. And this is a classic example of the parts of our brain that we evolved when we were lizards going, I want that, therefore that's mine.
Well, the other thing too that
fundamentally animalistic.
Yeah, that she's not talking about too is the idea when people in large groups, there is such thing as a mob mentality and like a mob hive mind. So I mean that legitimately is a thing. And that's something that she doesn't even fucking bring up. But let me finish off this paragraph real quick, and then we can. Yeah. But the history of the movement for liberation in America is full of looters and rioters. They've always been a part of the movement.
Our movement. Our movement. You freaking. This chick's. I'm not kidding. Feckless is the proper word.
I'm betting that was the editor / writer, the actual person doing the write up fault, not her particular fault.
Yeah.
No, look. I'm so angry right now. Look.
It's good.
Let the hate
aim
flow.
the anger at the stupid, dude. That's what I do. I aim the anger at the stupid, and then I feel better at the end.
We're giving in to our lizard brain. That's what she's saying. We are unevolved people. We are incredibly hyper-educated, and we come up with the rationalizations for only operating with our lizard brain. Yes, that's true. All of you that are part of
simultaneously refusing to acknowledge evolutionary psychology and therefore refusing to acknowledge the very existence of a lizard brain.
Oh, and or gender and or science.
They don't even believe in the fundamentals of human nature or evolutionary psychology. Therefore, they think entirely with their lizard brain and then proceed to completely ignore the fact they have one.
Well, people don't have individual personalities in their world.
Right. No, their personalities are their pronouns. That's what it is. Their definitions of themselves have nothing to do with their actual experiences and anything they can share positively with society. It's their fucking pronouns. And that's why we end up with characters like fucking Ray Skywalker and, Mikey Spock and all these other motherfuckers in our pop culture.
Marvel.
Which in, traditional terms are all...
God, I cursed. I'm sorry.
Evil. They behave like villains.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
But that's the thing I mentioned earlier. They think that any quote unquote villainous behavior is justified if you're the underdog and are equalizing with your. They essentially see those characters as fighting a system that is punching down on them. Therefore, any action in retaliation is justified. It's like in V for Vendetta when V blows up the Old Bailey and then Parliament at the end. That's how they see themselves. That's how they see those characters.
Well, the funny thing too, it all comes back to power in a weird sort of way. It got me thinking about BioShock Infinite. So it's like, they have like that. Yeah. I mean, so you have that like very kind of like oppressive world, and then the roles get reversed and the Vox Populi become in charge, and now they are the oppressors. It's just awful. I mean, it's a great story, but it shows you like this dynamics of the revolutionaries trying to rise up and gain control. It's like, and they may have a worthy cause, but once they get in charge, that worthy cause gets thrown out the window, and they are just as tyrannical as the people that they were opposing beforehand.
And like I always say when I come on these, I'm just as opposed to traditionalism as I am to rampant deconstructionalism like we're seeing now. Yeah. Like in the late 90s and early 2000s, the traditionalists very much were still the problem. In the Red Scare and the Satanic Panic, the traditionalists were totally the problem. The Family Values Brigade is exactly like the Social Justice Brigade as far as I'm concerned. But the thing is, and this is the important bit, darling, the 90s happened. And most of what the 90s was about was the admittedly left-wing at the time artists basically taking a torch to the traditionalists out there in the Family Values Brigade. And the 90s were a lot better off for it because it actually encouraged individualism and freedom of expression. And most importantly, the focus on anything but morality, you dumbasses. Anyone who is so authoritarian that they insist their morality govern the entire world is opposed to me fundamentally. But you didn't realize that the 90s happened, therefore you still think that we're in Dead Poet Society or Patch Adams. You still think that somewhere deep inside the world there's this cabal of deeply traditionalist family values numbskulls controlling everything. So you still think you're the underdog. You're not. You're in all the positions of power and authority. You're in journalism. You're in every corporation in the form of HR and PR. You're in the arts and media. In fact, that was where they came in first, but that's a different conversation.
Well, that's all your fault, dude.
where the fuck else is there to be this traditionalist cabal you keep insisting exists somewhere? Honestly,
none. There's none. There's none. Every single part of popular culture in the United States has been infiltrated by the SJWs that, while initially well intentioned, turn into the complete terrorists of the United States. And that, you know what? That's a strong
they
word.
become the Puritans essentially.
Yeah, but they're their own terror group. They just they just don't recognize it. They think they're on the right side of history. And what Dalton was talking about was was absolutely true in the 90s, where there was a small group, a minority of people who thought they knew that their moralistic ideals were the way to operate a pluralistic society like we have in the United States. Obviously, that doesn't work in a pluralistic society because we have many different ideas. That's what pluralism is. We believe in many ideas, many religions, many points of view, and the ability to express all of those things. So that's the difference of the 90s versus now. And Dalton's right. They failed to recognize all of the gains that they made, and we had reached the point of absolute equilibrium to the extent that we could possibly do it in this country. And we were reaping the rewards, up until very recently. Mm-hmm. So
until we decided to start burning everything down.
From about 1990 to 2010, things were pretty copacetic, except for 9/11 happening. But
even after 9/11, you still had the majority of people on the same team. So and especially right after 9/11 happened, I think Tom and I talked about this at one point in time. Everybody was on the same team, and that was terrifying to a certain group of people.
It was because that. As far as I'm concerned, the Bush era was the dying gasp of the right-wing family values brigade.
Yeah, well, there's nothing wrong with family values, Dalton. I have them.
Well, with a capital F and a capital V. You just did a thing that they do a lot. When these people, the social justice warriors, see something good, they say that's automatically social justice because it's good according to our standards. And a lot of times in the 80s and back, from the 80s to the 50s, you had the Family Values Brigade doing the exact same shit. Where you believe in people's right to get married, right? That means you're for family values, which means that you should be against gay marriage and so on and so on. So,
no. Dalton, are you gay?
Yeah.
I know that. You know what else I believe in?
Mm-hmm.
Gay marriage. Because I don't care. Okay? Family values have bupkis to do with the religious right. Okay? Family values has to do with the opportunity for everyone to enjoy.
No, but what I mean is it's very easy to use universal values as a euphemism, which is why I say family values rather than just the values of a family. I'm totally in favor of the nuclear family and all that jazz. I just don't like.
What's wrong with the nuclear family? Wait a minute, Dalton. The nuclear family is perfectly fine. It doesn't necessarily have to be a man and a woman. See, this is the problem with some of these definitions. My nuclear family is two people loving each other, having children together.
Yeah,
that's a nuclear family to me.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I was just pointing out that the words I was using had nothing to do with what you're talking about.
Oh, okay, all right, good. I thought we were at odds, and I was.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. It's like okay.
It's the difference between family values with a small f and a small v versus family values, as in the same way that there's nothing wrong with justice.
One thing that the religious right did is they wielded justice, family values as a weapon.
J, that.
Well, wait a minute. Now, look, fidelity is important. Would you agree, Dalton?
Yeah.
Okay, so again, that's a family value, fidelity. So it's just I don't care the semantics of the whole argument. All I'm saying is I've fought my entire life for everybody to have absolute equality. Mm-hmm. Equity is not possible, but have everybody have absolute equality? We already have.
There's a difference between equity and equality. One is communism, one is not.
Right. Yeah, we don't have communism here. So, and Tom has just changed his character to Brie Larson, which means we need to move along.
Yes.
No, I was trying to get a fight. Like, ooh, fight.
No, I'm not gonna. I won't fight with Dalton because we agree on every friggin' thing.
All right, real quick. Let me get through these super chats real quick. So, Toxic Man Flu for $5. I would take a second job to not see Casino's thighs.
I saw that earlier. I just died.
Oh man. And there's another one too. Hopefully it didn't get lost. Macany90, she's pushing him she's pushing him to start being cursing Casino.
That's yes. There's only a handful of people who've seen Cursing Casino. I don't curse. It's like I think that's not. I think that's not a good form of expression. But I've done it a lot recently, and it's mostly because I'm angry.
What the fuck are you doing hanging out with me?
God damn it! I know. What the fuck is wrong with you?
I love all of you guys.
Every other word I say is fuck.
Yeah, I know. And you know what? That turns me on in a weird way that I can't fully comprehend. My
is this live stream still monetized because we said fuck too many times?
Fuck. We're all mad here, and now we need to move back on the topic.
I just want to reiterate. I gave you $10, and you're still reading this thing.
Okay, well, I need to yell.
A fool with his money are soon parted.
We need to do it.
No, it's fine. Okay. I'm just teasing. It's a gag.
I know. In your book, you note that a lot of people who consider themselves radical or progressive criticize looting. Why is this common? Probably because they're not morons.
Because some people who might agree with some policy positions you hold, like for example, I would like if the rest of the world, if we caught up with the rest of the world in the sense of a single payer Medicare for all style system. But that being said, I'm not a dipshit, and I don't believe in the idea of social justice as they would define it. Just like I don't believe in the idea of family values as the traditionalists defined it back in the Satanic Panic era and so on. Because when you become a moral authoritarian is where I get off. When you insist on controlling society and culture with your morality instead of leaving it to relevant places like policy issues is where I fucking get off. And I will.
Okay. Dalton, I will give you $2 not to say any of those phrases again for the rest of the stream.
It's not worth it. I'm still going to say them.
Okay. I think a lot of that comes from the civil rights movement. The popular understanding that the civil rights movement is that it was successful when it was nonviolent and less successful when it was focused on black
record
power.
Shows that. It's
hard time out. And before even Dalton gets started, because he will.
This is where the inaccuracies come in. That
absolutely, because you know what Dr. King was talking about, the fact that it was successful because it was nonviolent. The most successful protest.
You got to hear the rationale behind it. Okay.
Okay, I want to kill this lady.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
It's a myth that we get taught over and over. Again, from first moments we learn about the civil rights movement, that it was nonviolent movement, and that's what mattered about it, and that's just not true. Nonviolence emerged, in the 1950s and 1920s during the civil rights movement, in part as a way to appeal to northern liberals. When it did work, like with the lunch counter sit-ins, it worked because northern liberals could flatter themselves that racism was a southern condition. This was also in the context of the Cold War, and a massive anti-colonial revolt began over in Africa, Southeast Asia, Latin America. Suddenly, all these new independent nations had just won liberation from Europe, and the U.S. had to compete with the Soviet Union for influence over them. So it was really in the U.S. interest to not be the country of Jim Crow, segregation, and fascism, because they had to appeal to all those new black and brown nations all over the world.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I wonder what university filled this person's head with that bullshit.
Yeah.
Now, getting to the actual point, because there was actually a point in there that she made. Okay, yes, there were people during the civil rights movement who were violent. However, the point you are missing, my darling, is people like Malcolm X were catastrophic failures. It wasn't until the public at large saw that the civil rights movement were nonviolent and were upstanding individuals that they got any fucking where. Because this is exactly the problem. Violence will always poison the well. It's an almost universal poisoning of the well when you're dealing with broader cultural context.
Mm-hmm.
When you're dealing with a war, violence is necessary because it's a war, but in the realm of ideas, in the realm of philosophy, in the realm of actually wanting to get shit done on a practical level, violence will automatically poison the well, which is why we talk about Martin Luther King instead of Malcolm X, because Malcolm X was fucking insane for the most part, and that's why people like Magneto in Marvel Comics were based on Malcolm X, and Charles Xavier was based on Martin Luther King, because we aspire to the idea of nonviolence, because we are individualistic liberals who owe a fuck ton to people like Thomas Paine and John Locke. Thank you very fucking much.
I don't recall Professor or Malcolm X, or not Malcolm X. I don't recall Martin Luther King having a private segregated school for black kids where he trained a private army to do battle with the evil black people.
Yeah, but Malcolm X certainly did.
No. Professor X certainly had a private segregated school where he was raising a private army to do battle with the evil mutant.
Okay.
Well, the other thing too, Malcolm X started wising up too. He especially when he left the Nation of Islam. So the way he approached things completely changed.
Eventually,
and then Farrakhan killed him.
In the historical context of what the point she was making, though, the reason why the civil rights movement was successful had a fuck ton more to do with Martin Luther King and his more philosophical approach to nonviolence than it did with Malcolm X smashing shit and his affiliates smashing shit.
Yeah.
And in fact, if it had been left up to Malcolm X, I guarantee you there would have been more racists at the end of it, not less. I can almost guarantee
like
it.
I said, I think a lot of his opinion changed when he went to Mecca and realized that there were also white Muslims.
That being as it may.
And that and everything that he was taught by the Nation of Islam was a load of crap.
It was.
Wait a minute, that's not in there.
Yeah. So real quick, we got some super chats here and you get through. Toxic Man Flu for $2. Comics Division won't be bought by Culture Casino.
I tried.
Toxic Man Flu for $5. I got it. This is the E-Slap stream. Every stupid line a pause. I didn't realize
that. If you want to compare it to anything, compare it to the Rant Zerkers from Honey Badger Radio. Because if we were playing a video right now, I would totally say banana every time we pause, just to reference Honey Badger Radio.
That's funny.
By the way.
Yeah. Culture Casino for one of our panelists for some reason decides to super chat $5. Every stupid line a pause is Comics Division's new show. I am a panel member, slowly losing what is left of my mind. Thank you, Toxic Man Flu.
Well, you were still able to argue with me, so it can't have affected you too much. Culture.
Wow, you just set yourself up for a huge joke that I am not taking advantage of.
Why?
What? Anyway. Either you haven't lost much of your mind, or we both have. I totally admit that I'm insane. I don't know where you got that idea from.
Anyway,
I blame Tom.
She continues. Yeah, I blame Tom too. I blame Tom.
What do I do now?
You breathe oxygen.
You were pre-canceled.
Well, I do that all the time, but unless it's got THC in it, then I hold it in.
Wow.
But the real story here is that Francis Ford Coppola is recutting and re-releasing The Godfather Part 3. I mean, that's more important.
Okay, real quick, because Manu has to take off. $2 super chat. Gotta go. Gotta go. Good night, everyone. Yeah, I can read.
Good night, Makani.
Good night.
You gotta go. His new shirt on Teespring is amazing. The art is fantastic. You gotta check that out. It's freaking awesome.
Yeah, Makani is an amazing artist for sure. Okay, those two things combine to make nonviolent a relatively effective tactic. Even under those conditions, freedom riders and students protesters were often protected by armed guards. We remember the Birmingham. There we go. No, Birmingham. Struggle of 63, with the famous photo of Bull Connor releasing the police dogs and fire hoses on teenagers as nonviolent. But that actually turned into the first urban riot in the movement. Kids got up, threw rocks, and smashed police cars and storefront windows in that combat. There was a fear that kind of riot would spread. That created the pressure for Robert F. Kennedy to write the Civil Rights Bill and for JFK to sign.
Also wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was to say, I think that is wrong as well.
You want to take this one, Culture? I got the last one.
No. Go for it, and then I will throw in my 11.5 cents.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Okay, so here's the fucking thing. No, the thing that made the Vox Populi amenable to the civil rights movement once again was the nonviolence, because as much as it might fuck with your head, because I suspect you're a feminist, human beings actually have a tremendous amount of empathy. They've done studies on monkeys that show that monkeys have a concept of fairness. You give one monkey a grape for doing a task, and you give another monkey a generic food biscuit for doing a task. The one with the biscuit goes apeshit because he knows that's not fair. The easiest way to foment a genocide is to convince one group of people that another group of people has unearned privileges. Why? Because human beings like things to be fair. The moment a movement devolves into violence is the exact moment where we are psychologically driven to see them as the villains. You absolute dipshit.
All right, Culture.
And now you may add whatever you were going to add, Culture.
And Cole, of course, he stepped away, probably to take a piss.
No. I'm right here. I'm right here. I'm back. I just want to say that JFK didn't sign that bill.
Yeah, I was so blinded by the broader point that I completely.
I was going to say I'm pretty sure it wasn't JFK. It was he was dead by the time that thing came out.
Yep, it was signed by Johnson. Not only that, the only reason the only reason,
who ironically is the asshole president.
Yeah, he was a total dickhead. But he signed that bill. And you know what? The only reason that bill got passed is because the Republicans defeated the 16, 18, 14, I always get the number wrong, Democrats that were, what do you call that word, filibustering against this bill. They were all these lovely Democrats that wanted absolutely nothing to do with the civil rights in the United States and the equality of black people in this country. Just nobody remembers that. Nobody wants to remember that it took the Republicans to put them over the top so that this got done. So they defeated these total asshat Democrats that made this happen. So just remember that, kids, because that is what this whole bill came about.
Yeah, and let's not forget that the Dixiecrats were a thing too.
Yeah, and it was one day in Congress that was argued from both sides of the aisle, Democrat and Republican alike, that referenced every single opportunity that they could, Dr. King's peaceful protests, in order to get this bill done. Just so you know.
Okay, but there's also other factors in which anti-blackness and contempt for poor people who want to live a better life, which looting immediately provides. Fuck me, seriously.
So in other words, don't work for it, just fucking take it.
Just fucking take it.
And what happens when there's eventually no more worthwhile shit in the universe, darling? Oh, you haven't thought that far ahead, have you? Because you see, it takes order to make valuable shit. And once again, can't believe I have to explain this most basic tenet of human nature, but people like having nice things and claiming ownership over said nice things. If you remove that possibility from people's minds, you're just going to turn their frontal lobes off and basically throw us back to the Stone Age. And not even the most civilized parts of the Stone Age, because we haven't really changed psychologically all that much from the Stone Age. But the beat the person over the head with a club part of the Stone Age.
Yeah. One thing about looting is that it freaks people out. But in terms of potential crime that people can commit, against the state, it's basically nonviolent. You're mass shoplifting.
That crime is not against the state. You again, feckless. You obviously don't understand that the state has nothing to do with looting.
No.
The state doesn't own the goods that are being looted. The shop owner, the shopkeeper does. The shopkeeper is an individual. You do not know what their racial makeup is. You do not know what their history is.
It gets better. Let me read this last line here.
Dude, I read this article and now I'm like 4 times pissed off again.
I know. All right. Most stores are insured. Again, we'll get to that in a second. It's just hurting insurance companies on some level. It's just money. It's just property. It's not actually hurting any people. Fucking shit.
Okay, first of all, I just want to point out the irony that if we actually did live in a system where every consumer good was owned by the state, I guarantee this person would defend it. Because if she's this much of an agitator for looting and rioting and shit, she's probably a communist, and therefore,
clearly, no kidding.
If we woke up tomorrow in an America where communism flourished, which heaven and all other planes of existence forfend, but if we did, and somebody looted a government-owned warehouse, you can almost guarantee that every argument this person is making would be flipped. So,
you know what?
Even if your argument was correct, which it isn't, as everyone just went over, if it were the case, if you actually lived in the world that you wish you lived in, you would be on the other side of this argument, you disingenuous hack.
I have counted 9 factual inaccuracies by this author just in this interview. Not to mention the fact that this must be Alex Kurtzman with a voice changer at this point, because we have Star Trek that is representative of everything this person is saying. So thank you, Alex Kurtzman, for writing this book, you jackass.
So Tom, what did you share?
This is just something for everybody.
Oh, cool.
Oh my!
Oh, Tom, never change.
Oh my gosh, that was Fat Steven Seagal.
Yes, it was Fat Steven Seagal.
Yeah, it was Fat Steven Seagal, and Fat Steven Seagal's computer took a nosedive, kids. So if you have the opportunity to support his GoFundMe, which is out there on Twitter, do so, because he desperately needs a new computer so he can do more fun stuff like that.
That's great. Real quick, let me do a time check. Ishii, you still good?
Yeah, I'm kind of wearing down, honestly.
Me too.
Okay. Geez, how much of this is left?
15 hours.
Oh my god, way too much.
We'll just have to do a second stream like you guys did with the Robert. Was it Robert D'Angelo? You did the
Robert D'Angelo. We did multiples because we
I am so pissed that I missed that in that episode, because I would have loved to rip that a new one, but my phone was crapping out. Fortunately, I got a new phone recently, so that should happen less now. So I should be able to actually be on streams yet.
Yeah, let's go ahead and call it. Since 2 of our panelists are kind of wearing down, we can definitely finish it Sunday if you guys are cool with that.
Yeah, I've got good hair.
I can't do Sunday because I have other podcasts that I have to do.
Boo.
I know I have to work around Tom's schedule. We'll figure something out.
Tommy boy.
We'll figure something out.
Tommy boy.
Unless we did it earlier, like at 5 or something, that I could do.
Might be able to swing that.
The pipe.
Well, I'll get everybody in a group chat. We'll figure something out. So let's go around the room.
Glad.
We'll start with Ishii.
Hello, I'm Jay Ishiro Finney, author and Alien: A Human Suit. You can find my books on Amazon.com, Case File Arkham. H.P. Lovecraft noir set in the 1940s, Arkham. If you like stories where men are men, women are women, or women are gorgeous, and hell beasts from the abyss do not come with a trigger warning, check out the book. Or you can check out my novella, Scars, which right now is only 99 cents. It's a sci-fi story I describe as somewhere between A Boy and His Dog and The Rats of Nim.
You also have to explain the whole alien in a human suit thing.
The alien in a human suit thing was just something I threw in that I was using regularly. Mainly, it was just my own sense. Oh, there's a couple reasons, but mainly my own sense of kind of feeling like I'm viewing the world at a distance. And listeners kept repeatedly asking me to do shows as the alien, so I started doing it.
It's great, dude. I love those streams where you do it as the alien. I love that one time you were explaining it. It's like, no, dude, I got it.
Where are my they live sunglasses when I need them? God damn it.
Yeah, I was actually pretty happy about last week's stream. We went through a book on reptoids, and I was fact checking it.
Oh, that's great. All
And
right.
you can find that just at my name, Jay Shiro Finney, here on YouTube.
Up next, we have Culture Casino, who is taking a sip of water or booze or something.
Pretty much booze.
What does Joe Biden think about Lego erasing cops? I don't fucking know.
You know what Joe Biden thinks? Joe Biden thinks, you know what you need to do, Lego? Bird, squirrel, rabbit. I need a nap.
Well, I mean, you're not wrong.
Anyway, so I'm Culture Casino. I create wonderful things out of what other people do, and not nearly as well as Perry Chan does, but I support everybody in the community, and I hope you do too, because they're the most important people to me. This is a fun thing for me to do. It's a hobby, and I appreciate everybody who follows me and follows my channel, but the people that are on this panel are far more important to me, especially the likes of which Comics Division, Mr. Ishii, even Dalton, as though he's kind of weird. And then Tom is a brilliant human being that I love very, 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 very much.
Stop fucking
So
lying.
You know better than that. So just do me a favor, and if you want to hear me insult people, you can follow me on Twitter. Otherwise, I try not to curse on my channel. I was inspired to use bad words here tonight. Thank you very much, Comics, and I hope everybody has a great night. I appreciate all of you. You have no idea.
Up next, we have
so breathtaking. Tom. You're all breathtaking and beautiful and brave and stunning. And I love you all.
And you have nice nipples.
I like nipples. But
who doesn't?
Crazy folk.
I'm crazy for feeling so lonely. I'm crazy.
Don't ever do that again.
Crazy for loving.
I will literally pay you to do that every time he says the word crazy. I swear to God.
Is there anything else you want to plug, Tom?
No, she's not here right now.
Hey now. It's the Nancy Pelosi stream. Plug away.
But yeah, I mean, Christina Ricci, if you're listening, my address is
all right, Dalton, you're up next.
All right. Hi, folks. My name is Dalton Mortimer. I am the Authenticator. My channel here on YouTube is called The Authenticator. I, as Culture pointed out, am a bit weird. If you like magic and occultism, I got you covered. If you like philosophy, I got you covered. If you like geek shit and pop culture, I got you covered. If you like the intersection of all of the above, then I most definitely have you covered. I also do a podcast every week with my friend the Brainstormer of Pop Culture called The Podcast of the Storm, where we essentially do what we just did, but for the inculcation of social justice in geek stuff. So if you like seeing me angrily rant at people who are fundamentally stupid, who should know better, then head over there. As for where you can find me on the interwebs, you can find me at The Authenticator on Twitter, but spelled without a U in the tag because Twitter is dumb and won't let me have enough characters. You can find me just about everywhere else at The Authenticator spelled normally. Cheers, guys.
All righty. Where do I back out? There we go.
Confident in my sexuality. Okay, sorry.
Thanks for sharing. I don't know how to end on that one. Good night.